serum. I'll show you about it. Don't really need it, do I? No. Can you hear me at the back? Would you like to see my imitation of a duck? Yes. Look out. Anyway, so, what am I doing here? It's very kind of you to come, and I'm not sure what we're going to do here. I can tell a few jokes if you like, but perhaps you'd like to talk about Doctor Who, or we could talk about more interesting subjects. Like I understand Tom Baker did when he spoke to his fans, because both turned up. Mrs. Trellis from North Wales, UK. Anyway, so I'm not quite sure, because I've never been here before. Quite nice though, isn't it? I've had a pint, in case you wanted to know. And I've been out on the terrace, smoking, because, you know, I want to boost the economy. So, there's a tax on cigarettes now, outrageous. But there you are. Does anybody here not smoke? You and me, mate. So I guess, what would you like me to do? Sing, dance, talk, ask questions, or whatever? I could ask you questions. Like, what on earth are you doing here on a sunny day? I know why, because I don't have to pay to the point. But then, would anybody like to ask any questions about Doctor Who, sex, rock and roll, anything? I'm open. Nobody? Oh, right.
There's been various attempts to resurrect Blake 7 in the last few years. Do you think there's ever a chance it will come back?
No. Well, yeah, actually, Big Finish, have you heard of them?
Yes.
They're doing a series of audio tapes. What are they called?
CDs.
Thank you.
The Liberated Chronicles are going to be called.
Oh, it's going to be called. Do you want to come down here?
I was going to ask you about that.
Okay, yeah, the Liberated Chronicles they're called, and they're sort of adventures. And I've done one recording, in fact I've done two, but I did them in the same day, because I get bored. Do it more than once. And I'm going to do another one at the end of the month. The first one I did with Michael Keating, who you may remember. And the other one was done with some Welshman. And then, I don't know what happened to him. But anyway, the next one I'm going to do is a very strange woman called Jan Chattel, who played Callie. And also, they are producing books of Blake 7 adventures. And they've asked me to write one. And so I'm in the process of writing it. I've written a Blake 7 adventure. That's as far as I've got. I've written the first page, and then I got distracted. And I looked at it the other day and I thought, well, this is good, I wonder what happens next. So maybe I'll find out. And those will be coming out, I think, next year. You probably know more than I do. So that's the extent of any Blake 7 revival for the moment, as far as I am aware. Of course, you know, if Brad Pitt wants to do it, we'd probably make a movie. Because I think Brad Pitt would be very good as Villa. George, of course, wants to play Aegon, because we're very similar. I'm often mistaken for George Clooney, and he for me. So there you are. That's the extent of any development of Blake 7. But this being a Doctor Who convention, I'm surprised I got that question. Delighted. And thank you for it.
I can give you a Doctor Who question if you like.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, allow us to
Poisoning of Charles Bravo was one of the series you made with
Yeah.
Maureen O'Brien, who was Vicky in Doctor Who.
With Maureen, yes, Maureen O'Brien.
Stories about
Yeah, the lovely Maureen, where we had to be in bed together, and we had to be unclothed, naked. And so what happens is they put a bolster in the bed between us, so for modesty's sake. And also, I'm under the sheet or on top of the sheet, she's on, so it looks as though we're in close proximity and naked, but we're not in that close proximity, and trust me, doing a naked scene in bed or in any other circumstance is a nightmare, because there you've got the hot lights from the studio and hundreds of crew, and of course with a naked woman, the crew suddenly becomes massive. All right, oh dear, oh dear, you know, and it's so unsexy. And there's the camera up there, and they call a tea break. So I said, oi, and he says, yeah, what? I said, you know, we're naked. I'll bring a cup of tea. And he said, yes, and Maureen said, oh, could I have a piece of cake? So he was very good, cameraman, came back with a cup of tea for us and a cake. And then we had to do the love scene with cake crumbs all over. And last time I saw Maureen, actually, because she's an author, she was at a signing, she was signing her books, and we sat together. And I reminded her of that. I think she said, what did she say? I think I prefer to forget it if you don't mind. There you go. So, sir.
Do you enjoy Law and Order, and have you had many scenes with Peter Davison?
Law and Order UK?
Yeah.
Yes. No, I haven't, because of course Peter's only just joined the cast. It was Bill Patterson, and you tend not to, who had that role. Bill, I think, has been promoted, and Peter has now got his job. I'm a judge in it. They have a pool of actors, so-called, who are judges. And I'm a High Court judge, so it has to be murder, rape, pillage, all the good stuff, you know. Just the boys letting off a little steam, but... so I've done 5 episodes, 4 of which have gone out, 1 is about to, well, I don't know when the next series is. And they're talking of doing another series, so I'm there if, you know, comes up, oh, it's a bit rapey without Paul as a judge. Okay. Yeah, it's great fun, but I'm not had anything to do with Peter because he's the other side, as it were. You get, before it was Ben Daniels, now it's Dominic, what was that? Dominic, anyway, I call him Dominic. He's the prosecution, and there's Freema, of course, who is in Doctor Who, who is the loveliest person. She's absolutely adorable. She's a really nice girl. I like her a lot. Yeah. So she's there. So there's the Doctor Who. It's all connected, isn't it? You see, Doctor Who. And then David Tennant, who was Doctor Who, is, I don't know whether he's married to her, but Peter's daughter.
Oh, yes.
They're an item, aren't they? I think that's the way to say it, isn't it? They're an item. So isn't it funny? Funny old world, isn't it? Yeah. It's like me marrying Jacqueline Pierce. There's a terrifying thought. There was a scene in Blake 7 where we had a clinch, big clinch. And she said, you and I, together we can rule the universe. I said, am I that boring?
I've got to go still though. I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, yeah, well, you go on then. don't wet your pants. Remember what your mother told you. You know, wear clean underwear in case you get run over by a bus. And then what would they think of your mother? Yes, you had this clinch, and she said we could rule the universe, and I threw her on the floor, as you do. And I said I'd be dead in a week. And after the scene, Jacqueline said, yeah, but what a way to go, eh? Which it might very well have been, yeah. But I'm still here, thankfully. I think I am, anyway. We might all be an illusion, of course. Somebody's dream. And there's somebody on the other side of the moon dreaming this. Well, it's probably a nightmare. Oh my God, Tom Baker! So, there you are. Right, anything else? Oh, you'd like to ask the question, but you know all the answers.
I love the way you tell.
It's the way I tell them, isn't it? Yeah.
I just listened the other day, in fact, for the first time to your recording of Rebecca's World, which you did.
Oh, yes, I did, yes. Rebecca's World, yes.
And it was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. I recommend it. Big finish.
Yeah, so Rebecca's World, this was Terry Nation wrote it. It's a children's story. And it was written for his daughter, Rebecca. And they wanted to record it. And Becky, Rebecca, whom I know very well, of course, she said, well, they can only do it if Paul does it. And Martin Scorsese directs. And I thought, hang on. I said, Becky, I don't think you're going to get Martin Scorsese. So she settled for me. So yes, I did. I recorded it. And it's a children's thing, and I play all these various characters. And apparently it's much appreciated by children of all ages. So, yeah, oh, thank you for that plug. Yeah.
What was your favourite of the characters? As you played at least 7 or 8 different...
Played 7 or 8 different characters. Oh, I like the bad guy. Mr. Bliss. Who I ripped off James Mason's voice. Hello, I'm Mr. Glister. What's your name, the girl? Could have been Lolita, actually. There you are. And I did one voice of one of the heroes, and the director, Lisa Barman, with whom I've been in the theatre, and who is directing the Liberator Chronicles. She said, who's that? I said, come on. You know, just, here I am, to rescue it. Now, who's that? Oh, God. That's Laurence Olivier. It's Richard the Third. Like my it's Tekker. Yeah. One of the most hated episodes of Doctor Who. And yet it sells like hot cakes. It's amazing, but it's so bad. I remember I had an argument, who's arrested soul with JNT, Johnny and Turner. And he said, you're sending this up. I said, what? You put a scene with me with a guy in a cobra head. And the actor who played it, I do feel sorry for him. He was sitting in the corner practicing hissing. You know, I mean, come on. You can't take that seriously, can you? So he told me off, JFK. And then I met him at a convention in Chicago. And we had breakfast together, because we were in a very posh hotel, where when you walked out of your suite, on the gold key floor, you had to have a gold key. Otherwise you couldn't get to that floor. Mind you, if it had burst into flames, you wouldn't have got out. And that's the thing, if you go to America, don't go above the 12th floor if they put you in a hotel. I know this because a fire chief in Chicago said, don't do that. I said, why? He said, because the 12th floor is the highest we can get the ladders. When you think about it, it makes sense. Having said that, the 23rd floor, there is the helicopter pad on the roof. So you might get off that way. What was I saying? Oh, I had breakfast. Thank you, sir. See, somebody's paying attention. But I will be asking questions afterwards. And you will get points. And what do points mean?
Right.
And then he gets an evening out with Gareth Thomas. And the loser gets 2 evenings out. So, yeah, so anyway, James, I said, well, look, James, yeah, you couldn't really blame me, could you? And he said, well, I was the producer, so I had to pretend that I was annoyed with you. But he said, I know what you mean. So all is forgiven. So that was okay. That was fine. And I enjoyed doing it because I wanted to play him like Richard III, you see. And I wanted the hump and the long hair, all that sort of thing. They gave me the long hair, but I gave them the hump. Are you sure you can hear me at the back?
Yeah.
Yes, but I am a trained artiste, remember. Well, it was a long time ago. You're late.
Apologise.
Where have you been?
In the bar.
Oh. Well, Darrow's here then, isn't he? What are you reading? Destination Universe by A. Van. Oh, is that any good?
Old, but yeah, very good. Pretty technical so far.
Technical?
Yeah,
Oh.
rather than fancy.
Oh, yeah. And whenever they gave me technical stuff to say, the producer, David Maloney, who sadly is no longer with us, would come up and say, do you know what this means? I said, no. And he said, well, you don't have to say it if you don't want to. And I said, well, I'll give it a go. So I said it. I didn't know what I was talking about. And at the end of it, he said, well, you convinced me. So that was that. They left it in. I did a convention in New York. Actually, it was very sad. I remember it was I don't remember the year actually, but Isaac Asimov was there. And I was introduced to him. And he said, are you, talk like that, are you interested in science fiction? And I said, not really, no. And he looked at me and he went, you might care to read some science fiction? And I said, well, perhaps I should. And he said, you might start with my books. All right, Isaac, I will. So that was that. He was a nice man. He liked the girls. Anyway, and Anthony Perkins was there. And he died. It was awful. He died after that convention, Anthony Perkins. He was there because of Psycho, which was a sort of early version of Avon in Blake 7. Wonderful film. Anybody else want to ask a question? Oh, so how patient you've been.
Thank you. You seem to have cornered the market, you and Tom Baker, on voiceovers.
Tom and I do a lot of voiceovers, yes.
Lots of radio ads that pop up all over the place, and ads, and you recognise your voice. Would you have gone for the Little Britain gig that Tom got, and how would you approach that?
Oh, I'd have loved that, and I know Tom did. I did appear in an episode of Little Britain because I'd worked with David Wannings and Matt Lucas. David Wannings and I did a series called The Strangerers, and that was fun. And then Matt and I did a radio which was never broadcast with Bill Bailey. Enjoyed doing that, but Bill who was playing the lead, it was called Hey Hey We're the Monks. And funnily enough, it was set in a monastery. And Bill was the labour, and I was the sort of villain of the piece. This is your cell. You know. I'm doing my Vincent Price's. There was a wonderful advert Vincent Price did many years ago, which they pulled off for some reason. It was how to make an individual fruit pie. First, you take an individual. I thought, I love that. Some of the adverts that they took off, Kenneth Williams did one about Mum Rolette. I mean, he said, once upon a time there was a girl, and girls stank. But a girl's best friend is her mum. And they thought that was offensive, so they took it off. It was very funny. And there was a very funny one for a washing powder, where this woman came on with what looked like a sheet, which was covered in blood, and went, faggots. Really? Get rid of them. Hilarious. Oh, right, all right. You know, I'm one of the few people who, the very first time I went to the United States, I went to New York, and I went into, it's called the gay area, but I didn't know that. And I walked into a druggist, which is, you know, tobacconist and all that, and I said, could I have a packet of fags? The guy behind the counter looked at me and went, that ambitious, huh? And I said, I mean, she said, I figured. He was a nice guy, yeah. But you make mistakes, you know, you've got to be careful. I never realised, you pat a little kid on the head, it's a gesture of affection over here. You do it in Korea, it isn't, it's an insult. That's handy for you to know when next you visit Korea. Sir, right up at the back.
After you go and buy cigarettes, you pop into a stationery shop and ask for a rubber.
Oh, yeah, well, there is actually, funnily enough, many years ago when I was in Repertory Theatre in New York, there was an Australian in the cast, and Durex was a condom here, of course, but in Australia it's sellotape. And I went with him, and he walked in to W.H. Smith and said, do you have Durex with Merry Christmas written through it? The girl fainted. Not a bad idea, though. So, there you go. Very funny. It's wonderful, you know, doing these shows. Actually, I owe a lot to Blake Seven, Doctor Who, because I've been lots of places, met lots of wonderful people, met a few weirdos. But it's been great fun. Oh, it's not over yet. I hope. I know when I reach the age of 65, you're surprised. I got a letter from the pension service saying we're all big fans of yours. Would you do an article for our in-house magazine? And send us a photograph, so I did. Yeah. So, and did I think the pension service was good? And I said, well, when I get the money, I'll let you know. And so far, so good. Okay. This young man has Star Wars coffee written on his shirt, t-shirt. And I've just done, well, a little while ago, a game for George Lucas, which is where I'm a Sith. Sith. Try saying that without your teeth in. Anyway, do you want to wake up with a smile in the morning? Well, don't forget to leave your teeth in at night. Anyway, I wouldn't give this spot to 11. Yeah, I'm a Sith. And they said, would you mind, Paul, doing, because he's a major character in this game. In fact, he is the character because he's guiding the person who's playing the game through the game. So, you know, you let me down there. Darth Vader won't like it. So, you've lost. Well, what? You're very good, and so on and so on. And they said, would you mind doing an interview afterwards? And I said, no, not at all, which we will tag on to the game. And I said, oh, great. So they said, what did you think of George Lucas? Well, being a creep and wanting to be in the next Star Wars or whatever he does, I said how wonderful he was. Genius. And I said, by the way, is he here? And he said, no, you're right now. He popped out for a few beers. But actually he doesn't drink. So when that comes out, he was fired. I can't remember what it's called. But it's coming out soon. And apparently they were very pleased. And it was great fun to do. And I said, I've got a bone to pick with George. I said, because I wasn't in any of the Star Wars movies. Everybody else I know was. You know, Julian Glover was in it. He's still alive. Hard to tell, I know.